2 months after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation and officially called to arms all African Americans, the United States Congress passed the Enrollment Act of Conscription in March 1863. This act required that all men between the ages of 20 to 45 be subject to a draft into the Union Army. The exemption clause allowed wealthy citizens to pay a $300 fee, making them exempt from the draft and discriminating against lower-class citizens who could not afford the fee. Draft riots erupted all over the United States. In Detroit, Michigan, military quotas were being filled without the need of a draft, and many feared this new federal law. Racial tensions in Detroit began to escalate as newspapers like the Detroit Free Press blamed African Americans for the war and encouraged readers to be fearful of free blacks. In addition, a Detroit tavern owner, William Faulkner, was arrested for molesting 2 9-year-old girls, Mary Brown, a white girl, and Ellen Hoover, a black girl. On March 6, 1863, a mob of whites gathered outside City Hall to hear William Faulkner's verdict of guilty. Soldiers from the federal provost garrison were called to manage the mob and transport William Faulkner to the local jail. The mob became riotous after a soldier fired on the crowd, killing Charles Langer. The mob attacked Faulkner while in transit and invaded Detroit's black neighborhood centered on Beaubien Street south of Lafayette. 30 homes were destroyed, more than 200 blacks were left homeless, several died, and dozens were seriously injured. Joshua Boyd, a black man, was struck in the head with an axe while trying to escape from a burning building. The 27th Michigan Infantry Regiment dispersed the riot and arrested 22 people. Although racial animosity was already present in Detroit, the Free Press further instigated the prejudice towards African Americans by publishing openly racist articles. Prior to the riot, the Free Press made hints at the possibility of a riot ensuing and used the case of William Faulkner as a catalyst. The newspaper states, "It is thought that an excited and indignant mob would have attempted to wreak summary vengeance upon him within the very walls of the courtroom." Competing Republican newspaper, the Detroit Advertiser and Tribune, exclaimed, "This is a Free Press mob," citing the Free Press as the cause of the riots. The Detroit Free Press newspaper labeled March 6th as the bloodiest day that ever dawned on Detroit. In the coming years, both girls confessed that they lied on the stand against William Faulkner, and in 1870 he was pardoned after serving 7 years in prison.